like and subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Here is another crazy story. O Block.
Responsibilities. Here, instead of buying an apartment, you purchase the right. It's cheaper than buying a home, and it's a great way to find an upstanding community. Because there's a barrier to entry, it pretty much weeds out all of the gang members and unemployed.
O Block. This was O Block before it became O Block. There used to be productive people living in those areas, in those projects. Imagine that. Then somewhere along the line, those gang members came. Imagine that. Don't forget, whenever those gang members come around, guarantee
Individuals, and it
problems.
creates a safe
Guarantee problems.
enclave in the middle of the hood. Well, one of these complexes was built on King Drive between 63rd and 66th, easily one of Southside Chicago's worst areas. The co-op was named the Parkway Gardens, and at the time it was state-of-the-art for middle-class.
Sounds so sounds like the garden, the
Families. With 35 buildings and nearly 700 units, it quickly became a premier housing choice for African American families.
When I was growing up, this was considered the elite property for doctors, lawyers, nurses.
imagine that. Back then, Parkway Gardens, aka O Block, it was known for the elites. Not anymore. Right now, they say you can't even walk through O Block. You gotta go like this right here because there's so many people just standing there doing nothing.
Professional people that lived over here. This was the cornerstone of our community.
It's protected by train yards on the south and west sides,
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
elementary school to the north, and a major fence going down King Drive. So although it was in the hood, it was sheltered from the bad elements and the residents could live a peaceful life. This included the family of former First Lady Michelle Obama.
Yeah, O Block was a great place. But you know what happened? It happened to all the projects. Not just O Block. It happened to all the projects.
Those who didn't know, well, the glory days of Parkway Gardens lasted for a couple of decades with a strong middle-class community. But then, sadly, the complex would start its gradual decline. In the mid-1980s, the owners of Parkway sold the complex to a new investor who decided to get rid of the co-op status. They replaced it with Section 8 renting, and here's where the problems.
Section 8 renting. They said that wherever Section 8 renting goes, there goes the crime rate going up for whatever reason.
And throughout the 80s and 90s, the new owners neglected the property and started accepting new residents without background checks. And because of this, Chicago kingpins began moving into the complex to operate their business. Specifically, a BD kingpin named Tokyo G opened up in the complex and built
Tokyo G. He was a legend from Park Gardens.
major operation. So major traffic was coming in and out of the Parkway Gardens on a daily basis, which caused other hoods to become jealous. Specifically, a territory across King Drive thought that he was taking up their business and they plotted on his head. This would be a reputed GD.
As you can see, this violence and this crime, we all know it's been going on for so long. But this one, they said it started in the projects. Parkway Garden, aka O Block. Hasn't been the same since.
Called STL, long known for putting in work. Well, in September of 1998, Tokyo was tragically killed while rolling through their neighborhood. This is
Tokyo.
known to be the first official loss of Parkway as a collective. And from what we know, STL were the big bullies in the neighborhood, and they simply eliminated Tokyo because he was taking their customers. In most of Chicago, this would start
They said that's what Larry Hoover did. I mean, let's not get into Larry Hoover right now.
major beef, but Parkway just really wasn't like that yet. These other hoods had major gangs that had been rocking together for decades, and Parkway really had nothing. They didn't have
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe button.
structure, and there was no unity in order for them to fight off these other hoods. And as a result of all this, no one respected them as streets, which will actually be important. Well, because of this lack of respect, many of the
Imagine that. Respect. For whatever reason, these individuals, they want respect. Just to go to court and say, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Unbelievable.
Parkway youth were tested and disrespected at school. This made it very important for them to stick together and to always have each other's backs against all odds. Since the very start, it was loyalty and brotherhood over everything, as it was the only way they could survive. Then,
Believe it or not, they could have survived other ways. They just chose to go down the path of playing with firearms. That's it.
nowhere, their challenges would become even more complicated. In 1998, Chicago began tearing down the majority of their public housing, and instead of rebuilding the projects, they decided to give all of the residents Section 8 vouchers where they could move into complexes like Parkway Gardens. And just
Don't forget, wherever that Section 8 goes, they said that goes up
that, the
for whatever reason.
Parkway Gardens filled up with project residents from all over the city. Obviously, with all the gang beef in Chicago, this made for a potentially dangerous situation. Rival gang members could now be neighbors, and not to mention that the original Parkway residents were entering the streets as well. The Parkway teenagers could potentially not like these other hoods moving into theirs, and maybe they'll want to send a message.
Believe it or not, that's why they said a whole lot of individuals from Chicago started switching sides. Imagine that. Imagine switching sides.
Things could potentially get ugly, and there was only one way to keep the peace. The Parkway Gardens residents need to agree to unify as one and to leave alone their past affiliations. So here's how it plays out. One particular Parkway native would step up to unify everyone who was moving in.
Okay.
This would be O.D. Perry, one of
O.D. Perry.
the most charismatic yet dangerous teenagers you'll ever meet.
Tell me about O.D. Perry. This is your best friend.
O.D. Perry.
Folks was a gangster. He was real savage. Like,
Gangster, savage. Imagine being known as a gangster and a savage at the same time.
Folks was just like a young wild. He had a heart. You know, he was fearless. He was like, he had no fear. And
A lot of these individuals are fearless until they get locked up.
he was really scared of.
According to many, O.D. Perry was like the leader of the new generation of Parkway.
It's like our big brother type shit. Showing us
Parkway.
as far as like small shit. Got a little money on them and shit, you know, like 3,000, you know, motherfuckers ain't have money back.
He's like a moon. I'm not. Let's get back to the story.
So we started doing the same thing. Same thing.
O.D. Perry was a dangerous teenager, but instead of pushing people away, he wanted to unify.
Imagine that. Imagine being known as a dangerous teenager. Unbelievable.
Essentially, him and his little homie T. Roy were the ones to welcome everyone in and have them all pushing Parkway. On top of this, O.D. was very advanced and he was known.
So in reality, you had these individuals moving to these projects with Section 8. They had little young kids, and the young kids destroyed the neighborhood.
A lot of
Destroyed the project, destroyed everything.
from the younger generation onto his lifestyle. But on the flip side, if they ever had issues with people at school or on the streets, O.D. was always there to back them up. To him and T. Roy, they saw loyalty as the only way Parkway would ever survive the streets of Chicago. You must always have your brother's back, right or wrong, and crossing them, you better not do it. Okay, so you might be sitting in your house in Santa Rosa, California.
Right or wrong? So that's what's going on right now. These individuals ruin the projects. Instead of, here's what's going on.
Thinking, why would living in a specific apartment complex be this serious? Like, why do they all have to be unified, and who's even out there trying to harm them? So let me explain the dynamic. Right across King Drive, you have the reputed STL gangster disciples. For years,
STL.
these were the bullies of the whole Woodlawn area, and they always took Parkway as a joke. But
A
with
joke.
this generation led by OD and Boss Top, the Parkway Gardens were not going to put up with this.
Boss Top.
So every single day in the mid-2000s, there were fights both at school and on the streets. It continued like this for a few.
These individuals used to have issues with each other in school. Then they grow to adults. Then they start having real issues with each other.
And thankfully no one ever died. But then O.D. Perry decides that it's time to go full-fledged on the rivals. No more fight.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
He allegedly tells all of the younger homies like T-Roy that fighting is no longer allowed and
T-Roy?
it's time to start sparking sticks.
Imagine
He
that.
did this to prepare the youngins that the Parkway Gardens were now becoming implicated in a serious deadly beef. Specifically, the local
It's time to start sparking sticks. Imagine that, sparking sticks. I mean, was it plan on having them together? I don't know.
of STL, Jaro City, and 051 Young Money were clicked up against 600 and Front Street. And because Parkway had clicked up
Front
with
Street?
their two hoods, they were becoming targets in the beef themselves.
Front Street. I think that's where Blood Money was. Was Blood Money from Front Street, maybe? Unbelievable.
Yeah, things were about to get ugly, and Odie wanted to make sure that his hood was ready for real beef. Because once the beef crosses that line,
Real beef, no chicken at all. No chicken, just beef. Unbelievable.
everyone from Parkway will now be a target. Well, because of OD, the beef would definitely cross that line. On January 12th, 2011,
I mean, was that beef medium rare or was it well done? Or was that a steak? I don't know.
Parkway claimed the life of 15-year-old Shondale Tuka Gregory at a bus stop on 63rd.
Right now, they got a famous bus stop. Name is right there. It's called Tuka Stop. Unbelievable.
From all accounts, Tuka wasn't even in the beef. He just so happened to hang out with the members in the neighborhood.
He just wanted to do right to make me proud. That's all. Was he gang related? No.
Where their fathers at? These individuals don't have any fathers. Do they have fathers? I don't know.
No.
You don't think Tuka wasn't in the gang?
No.
The loss of Tuka devastated the 63rd community, and especially his best friend, FBG Doug.
And me and him clicked. Like, that was one of my real close friends. Every day, like, spend the night at
Everyone know what happened to Duck. They did look really bad. So bad. So disrespectful.
the house. He spent the night at man.
Doug was at home when he heard the shots, and he went out running to see what happened, and that's when he saw his friend's last breath.
You feel me? Then I ran all the way from 62nd and Wabash all the way to 63rd and St. Lawrence. Saved them right there on the floor.
After grieving this terrible loss, they now needed to know who did this.
St. Lawrence. Unbelievable.
STL quickly found out that O.D. Perry was the one responsible.
Knew exactly who killed Took right away because it was so many people out there. Walked up and only killed Took, only shot Took.
He was at a bus stop.
Yeah, he's at the bus stop. They on the bus stop 6 deep.
Bus stop. Chicago has never been the same since then. Eventually, it's going to be different because most of these individuals, they're no longer around. If they're not deceased, they're in jail.
Killed Tuka.
O.D. Perry was the shooter
Feel-
for Tuka. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Because of this horrible event, STL was ready to get revenge on Parkway. And because of this, the younger generation of Parkway
Hi, Luke. Hi.
was now forced
Hi.
to get violent as well. According to T-Roy, he was already ready to get stepping, but unexpectedly, one of his friends would as
Stepping.
well. This would be a friend who had only moved into Parkway a year before this incident.
Stepping.
This would be 15-year-old Davon Bennett, who was already a goon in his hood. But not only
Imagine that. Imagine being a goon at the age of 15 years old already. I mean, unbelievable.
a goon, he was also
I mean, did they know their fathers? I don't know.
charismatic and extremely handsome. I'm just kidding. Well, as soon as he moved in, he was treated like family, with OD welcoming him and T-Roy becoming his best friend. Like, for whatever reason, him and T-Roy hit it off from the first day, so much so that Vaughn was willing to slide for him.
Vaughn?
And just like that, Parkway was developing their first
Slide. Imagine that. These individuals slide.
official goon squad. They weren't even a gang, they were just guys who held loyalty and brotherhood over all else. They started calling themselves Wick City. Wick for wild, insane, crazy, and 3 eyes to show BD alive.
Wick City.
Still though, after the death of Tuka, nobody respected them because they never had history of beef.
But yeah, that was the name Wick City, and people used to make fun of us because like.
And people are still making fun of these individuals right now. They crash out dummies. I don't know a lot. Only thing I do know is crime, no pay. But I seen them do it, though. Unbelievable. I'll be back live in 30 minutes.